So today's class will be on the physiological role of trace membranes.
और ईयरफोन है तुम्हारे पास? ईयरफोन है?
म्यूट कर लो जस्ट, कोई बात नहीं. So basically regarding the trace elements,
हमको बोलना नहीं है, सिर्फ सुनना.
three
सैनिटाइज कर दो, कर दो ना, या कर दो ना.
अनिल एक बार म्यूट कर लो बाबू, म्यूट कर लो, म्यूट कर लो.
सर टॉपिक क्या बताएं? फिजियोलॉजिकल रोल ऑफ
एक मिनट.
कुछ हटवा दीजिए. अगर
So today's class is on physiology and metabolism of trace elements. So regarding trace elements, when we are talking, then basically 9 trace elements are there which are necessarily required for the development of an animal's body. So these are basically iron, zinc, copper, manganese, iodine, chromium, selenium, molybdenum, and cobalt. So these trace elements are needed under the optimum for the metabolic function. So basically these elements, they serve a variety of function, including the catalytic or the catalase, structural and regulatory activities in which they interact with various macromolecules like enzymes, prohormones, pre-secretory granules, and biological molecules. So these micronutrients, they are having two groups. The first will come under the anion and the second will come under the cation group. So the anion group, they are absorbed relatively easily and the whole body homeostasis is mediated through the renal excretion. But regarding the cations, these type of elements, trace elements, they need specific pathways for absorption and their homeostasis. So generally these cationic trace elements, they are affected by the gastrointestinal and the biliary secretion. So basically these cationic trace elements, they are, you can say, more organic complexes and they are efficient. So the net achievement of the metabolic pathway is to deliver its functional side by exploiting its physiochemical characteristics to avoid interactions with other inorganic nutrients. Mean to say these things can be done or being used very well in comparison to the anionic trace elements. So while starting this trace elements presentation, the very first thing is the glossary. That is the extracellular fluid, that is the fluid which is present outside the cells. So these consist of mainly two components, the interstitial and the intravascular fluid. So these interstitial fluids, these are usually sodium and chloride. So these fluids, they are account for 1/3 of the total amount of body's water. So ions or atoms are also there, those which lost electrons and therefore they have some electrical charge in them. So these basically sodium and chloride. Also the term is that cations and anions. So cations stand for the positively charged ions and anions stand for the negatively charged ions. Electrolytes is also there, that the salts that dissolve in water and dissociate into charged particles that are called ions. Electrolyte solutions are the solutions that can conduct electricity. Okay. So regarding homeostasis, this is a term used to describe a condition of normalcy in the internal body environment. Mean to say, the animal body should be maintain their temperature or whatever the stress or difference between their body temperature or body metabolism to the environmental factors. So that is the homeostasis to maintain these things. So obviously the animal can maintain their homeostasis with the help of these ions or the electrolytes which is present in the animal's body. The next thing is osmotic pressure. So this is the amount of pressure which is required to oppose osmosis into a solution across semi-permeable membrane. So these osmotic pressure is just to maintain the things which comes in between a membrane. So the next thing is the chemical symbols. Your students know it very well. So regarding cations, if you will talk about the cations that are the positively charged, so these are having some ions or electrolytes. Exclusively, you can say sodium, potassium, calcium, and magnesium. Mean they are persist in the extracellular fluid or outside the cell membrane. So there is also the anions that are negatively charged ions, and these are the chloride, bicarbonate, phosphate, sulfate, organic acids like lactate, pyruvate, sulfonate, and proteins. So these are present inside the cell. There is also a terminology for minerals. So these minerals are inorganic regulators which are needed for different functions inside the body. So they do not provide energy, but they are involved in the generation or the production of the ATPs for energy, need of energy through metabolic or metabolism. So these minerals, they also provide a good medium for the protoplasmic activities. They maintain body fluid balance by the action of osmotic pressure. They also regulate the acid-base balance. These minerals, they have a structural unit that is confined in specific for specific organs, like bones and teeth. These also help in the hemoglobin and thyroxine formation. And minerals have cofactors in the enzymatic reactions because any enzyme can't perform individually. They have to work with along with certain minerals. So if we are talking about the physiological functions of minerals, then that are the growth and development. The basic thing is this. Because these, an animal, you can say an animal needs to develop their body part or to maintain their growth, they require minerals in a very trace amount. So they are found in compounds essential for the functioning of the body. As for example, you can have this iodine in the thyroxine, zinc in insulin, cobalt in vitamin B12, like sulfur, thiamine, and iron in hemoglobin. So, as constituents of soft tissues, protein, cell bodies, or muscles, these minerals are also responsible for their proper function. So, this metabolic regulation, it also includes various enzymes like metalloenzymes, which are help in the helps in the production of ATPase because they act on the cytokine enzymes in mitochondria and they used to develop the production of ATP. In other form, you can say like zinc and copper, they are also act as natural antioxidant enzymes. To say they are acting on the free radicals, whatever that been prepared that will produce during any metabolic activity. So, as you know, these free radicals, these are very dangerous for the cells. So these enzymes, they are regulating and apoptosis these free radicals or oxygen derivatives. So as these things are also constituents of body fluids, because the body fluids are having various extracellular interstitial fluids. So they also contribute to the osmotic pressure of body fluids by maintaining their molecular weight as per the permeability, to maintain the permeability or for the osmotic pressure. While an example you can have, these sodium salts and potassium salts, they are present in the intracellular fluids, and these will influence the osmotic pressure. So this thing also maintain the neutrality in blood and body tissues by the formation of bicarbonates. Mean to say they just maintain a alkaline medium so that to prevent the accumulation of too much acidic medium. And the chief base forming elements are for these extracellular fluids, that are the sodium, potassium, calcium, and magnesium. So the acid forming elements are chlorine, phosphorus, and sulfur. So with the help of these bicarbonates, the things can be maintained. So again, for regarding the calcium, potassium, and sodium, they maintain the normal rhythm. Mean to say, to maintain the normal with these calcium, potassium, and sodium, the trace elements, they are required. So especially this calcium, they also help to maintain a normal stimulation in the nerves by helping with the neurotransmitters. So they act on the neurotransmitters to make the cells for proper functioning. These calcium ions, they are also essential for the clotting of blood. So basically the minerals are classified into two groups, macro minerals and the micro minerals. So basically the micro minerals, that are required in less than 100 mg per day. But the macromolecules that are required in more than 100 milligram per day. So these are the examples of the macromolecules, and these are the micromolecules. So almost these microminerals are also known as trace elements. So like electrolytes, these are the electrically charged minerals that is when dissolved in water or another solvent, they forms or dissociate into ions. To make basically what they do, they just charge the particles and conduct an stimulation, which further goes to the nerves and perform the work of a specific organ. So these electrolytes are distributed throughout the fluid compartments of the body, and the solution is known as electrolyte solution. And the basic common electrolytes are base, acid, and salt. So the major electrolytes are in body fluids are sodium, potassium, chloride, bicarbonate, sulfate, magnesium, and calcium. So this is the dissociation of the ions when it made from the positive or negative charges. So cations have a role because they carry a positive electric charge, and these are the anions, they carry negative electric charge. But some non-electrolytes are also there which are uncharged, mean to say they do not have any positive or negative charge, mean to say they do not conduct any electricity, like proteins, urea, glucose, oxygen, and carbon dioxide. And these things are very much needed to maintain a normal functioning or metabolism of the body. So, what is the electrolyte balance? So basically, these charged minerals, these electrolytes are the charged minerals. So they acquire in a fluid and they help in the distribution of fluids to inside and to outside of the cell.
outside.
Basically, what happens? They just perform the acid-base balance and maintain the water balance of the cell, mean to say the intracellular and the extracellular. They just maintaining these electrolytes. So if there is an excessive loss of fluids will happen, then this the concentration of the electrolyte will disturb, and in that very situation or the stress situation, kidney is the thing only that will play a key role to maintain the electrolyte balance by homeostasis. So almost in all electrolyte solutions, anion and cation concentrations are balanced. And if an anion enters the fluid, a cation must accompany it or another anion to maintain the electrically connection neutral. So whenever there is sodium ions, they are leaving, the potassium have to enter in the opposite right, from the opposite direction to maintain that homeostasis. Because somewhere there is negatively charged elements are also. So to maintain that negatively charged ions, some positive ions should also take place in the metabolism. So every time if the sodium ion is depleted anyhow, then at that time potassium have to play an important role to maintain this acid-base balance or to maintain the electrical conductivity. So these things are the basic thing regarding this.